That's a very rich question. I think for Stephen, there are many things. I think we have the image of the angel as the intermediary between human beings and God or the heavens. And for him, this idea that the angel is somehow in between, is ascending with the earth, away from the earth. And then that it's one-winged. He has a lot of personal history around the tragedies that occurred in his life, but also it becomes universal because he had wanted to talk about what we all share in common with living and the events of life towards death, and then the ascension. I think Stephen held with him very closely pieces, a multiple number of pieces that were meaningful throughout his development as an artist. And that piece was one he always referred to. So while I don't know that he ever specifically worked in reference to something, he always carried that with him. So I would definitely say yes. And for what I do know is that what he loved about that, the Winged Victory, is that you complete the form. And he found that brings people closer to their own impression of what that sculpture may be within their own interpretation of their own lives. And so that finishing of an unfinished form is a bit like the process of birth through death. So we finish an unfinished form as we go towards ascension, even though I don't think he would ever talk about it specifically like that. So there might be waxes all over the studio floor, maybe 10 or 15 arms, legs, torsos, wings, this type of thing. And then he would tack weld them together and shift the composition as he would like, lop them off, put them back on. So that process he had already, and actually that was his innovation. There usually a bronze comes in its original clay form, and then is cast from that form. But in Stephen's case, the artist's proof is the original, and then any additions afterwards would be part of that traditional bronze processing of making additions. But then again, the difference with the clay is that those works, all the components were pulled up from the earth where he had put them, and they had all these layers of sediment, and then that actually gave some kind of change in information to the pieces as they became something, as they were combined in ways that they had not existed previously, those components. The main thing would be freedom. Freedom with material, because clay, when as Volkes presented it, and as Stephen had told me was just so inspiring, was that there would just be huge mounds, hundreds of pounds of clay in one large mound, just covered over with plastic or wet towels and things like that. And just the fact that you with your body can have a relationship with a large section of clay and take it and work with it, that freedom actually freed him from some perfectionistic tendencies that he didn't want to keep having or continue in his work. And so I think that was really, and also that spirit of just full expression, which Volkes seemed to live. Well, I would say that that Stephen was a very, very humble person, very open and alive, and he worked until the last 6 weeks of his life, which was a wonderful thing to witness.